Hello everyone, welcome back to Coastline Racing Season 2, Weekend 2 here in Imola. We're just about 30 seconds from start here. Passing it over to Ollie here to give us the starting grid.
Welcome everyone. In P1 we have Nicholas Richardson in that beautiful Red Bull. P2 we have Noah Hunt in that beautiful Alpine. And in P3 we have Jimmy Cole. Let's see what they can do.
Wonderful, we're just about to get underway here. Red Bull has gone away from the Champions livery. They said they're using it in preseason testing, and they hope to bring it out again next season if they win again here. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I've got a question for you, Nick.
What is that?
How do you think this start's gonna go? So obviously we see the rain. It's not quite heavy yet, but
oh, and it's lights out and away we go. My favorite line. Oh, wow, the Red Bull off to a terrible start here. Definitely looks like it got caught in some water. But yeah, to answer your question, it is raining pretty hard here. We can see already it's coming down. Let's see if we can get you guys a better camera angle here, a little further away. The Red Bull is falling really far behind here, a concerning amount almost. Already a second between the Red Bull and the leader here. As we come through the first turn. Oh, and the Red Bull is off the track in the sand, and it spins coming back out onto the track. That's a risk you are going to have there with the wet grass and the wet conditions today. Let's go and take a look at, looks like he's getting back on track. Let's take a look at the Alpine here, who luckily, had a pretty good start, was able to get a position, pretty close fighting for the lead there. Now we're going to be fighting for the lead again here. This week we don't have our fancy gap software or anything up, but we do have the leaderboard, so we'll use that to our advantage here. How do you think the Alpine's going to fare against the, or how do you think the AlphaTauri is going to fare against this Alpine here, who seems to be putting on quite a good pace compared to last week?
yeah, I feel that the Alpine, he's obviously showing his strength. Last week we saw that he wasn't very confident. I think he's starting to gain that confidence in his car. He's pushing it to the limits. I think the same with the AlphaTauri, but we'll just see. I believe the Red Bull, maybe he didn't expect it. Maybe he wasn't ready. But maybe you never know. Of course. It
does seem like, just as we came down this main straight again, it does seem there's quite a bit of water pooling up near the sides. So maybe that played an effect in the start. For all drivers, maybe it helped the AlphaTauri on the outside here. It is a bit blurry. Let's see if we can get into some onboards here. This might be a little easier. Remember, the drivers are, a little bit lower than these cameras, so they are getting more of the effect. But luckily, their cars are going so fast, the water is staying, for the most part, off this lens here. We're on board, obviously, with Cole here in the AlphaTauri. We will go take a look up at our front runner here, the Alpine. The Alpine, not great last week. But this week, looking so far like he's probably going to have a pretty good showing. Maybe he's a wet weather driver. I'm not too sure here. It does seem like we are having that issue with the camera lens again, where the tires look improper, but as you can see by the treads, these are the wets. The lead isn't too exciting. Let's go back to the AlphaTauri, see if he's going to be catching him just within a second. Not that matters that much this race, because there is no DRS. We will not have DRS unless conditions dry up. Sorry?
He's getting a little close. I think he's going to try to use everything to his advantage. Maybe dive down the inside there.
Okay, and they're getting really close coming down the main straight. Oh, and the Alpine forces the AlphaTauri off track. The AlphaTauri is okay, and they are spinning in the gravel. That's definitely going to have to be looked into there, Ollie. What are you thinking on that?
Thinking Racing Control will, that's gonna definitely be a penalty.
Struggling here.
I think it's that grass, Nick. I do believe that's.
Let's check in with the Red Bull. Oh, this might be his chance to come and overtake the AlphaTauri, and it looks like he will do just that. The Red Bull with a clear advantage there due to the collision. Let's watch the Red Bull for a little bit here, but yeah, for sure. That's definitely going to be looked into, yes, and we are actually just receiving word now that has been noted and is being looked into at the moment.
Yeah, that was a pretty dangerous move. May have been a mistake, may have been anything, to be honest, but I don't. The stewards are going to definitely look into that. That was definitely a dangerous move. Let's see if can the Alpine build up a gap. You know what I mean? Maybe it's maybe it's a time
Definitely.
penalty.
Excuse me, sorry.
The Red Bull
definitely
is looking
interesting.
very strong.
Yeah, the Red Bull here was, I believe, upwards of 20 seconds from the leader, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100%, I don't recall, but I believe it was 20 seconds. Now it's within within 16, 15 second area. You know, we obviously know the Red Bull's very good on this track. It's always been very good on this track. Every season we've had a Red Bull in competition. It has been very competitive on this track. As you can see, it does have the correct set of wets on. Not that the other competitors don't, but this has the you know, the blue rim, or the blue painted, whatever, you know, blue and colored tire, and they're using them quite to their advantage here. It's you know, something we don't see all that often is a driver, you know, pushing the limits this much in the rain. I mean, I would say he's pushing the limits here, but you know, what are you gonna do? He's gaining a lot of time here. What do you think is gonna happen here to the Alpine up front?
I think
a little bit off track.
I think Richardson is a very skilled driver. We can tell he's gaining seconds and seconds every lap. Okay, it's just we'll just see what he does. We're seeing he's gone down from 16 now to 13.7.
Yes.
It's just a very extremely skilled driver. The Alpine, to be honest, Hunt has came back massively. We can see last race he was all over the place. We can see that he's gained his confidence back, and he's showing what he can do in the weather. He's showing what the team how good he is.
Absolutely, Hunt is doing great here. You know, considering what we saw last week in Monza. You know, is the rain helping him a bit? Is it making the other drivers struggle a little more? Potentially, yes. Maybe that is a factor, but regardless, he's driving really well. It's not easy to drive this fast in the rain, right? The rain is really very difficult to race in. And I mean, the Red Bull is actually going very well through these corners. I mean, there is obviously a couple of things we, you know, maybe are surprised to see from these drivers, but it is raining quite heavily, I might add. I mean, if you look at the weather pattern here, it's not going to be letting up. Oh, a little bit early braking, a little bit off track there. That I'm not sure he'll get anything for it due to the conditions and he's not really gaining time from it, but interesting to look at. But yeah, I don't think we should be discounting the Alpine or even the AlphaTauri. I mean, the AlphaTauri, I'm not sure what it's doing. It's been held back a little bit here. We should probably, a little bit of nice save there by the Red Bull driver. Let's check in with all the other cars at this time as well. So the AlphaTauri just coming through this chicane now. You know, obviously taking a little slow, maybe some damage to the car we did not see from that earlier collision. And let's take a look at P1 coming down the main straight. Still about a 10-second gap from the Red Bull. A little bit slow into these corners compared to what we just saw from the Red Bull.
Yep.
But good pace.
Yeah, like I said, he's just.
Let's see if we can get back to the cameras just a little bit here. They are quite soaked. The lenses are getting some water on them, but we will try to see what we can get. As obviously these are better cameras to get a whole view of the race. So as we can see, oh wow, Alpine a little bit of an issue there. Not an issue, rather a.
To be honest, Nick, we've seen I think every driver struggling in that corner. To be honest,
it does appear that there's a lot of water, and we hear the Red Bull there at the back of the camera, gaining a lot of time on this Alpine. Let's check in with the Red Bull. That's the AlphaTauri, and here's the Red Bull right behind the Alpine. Beautiful run here through these corners. Really showing that Red Bull off here. We hear the Alpine to our right there, and the Red Bull's really just closing in. It's about a It's about to destroy this Alpine if this is the pace they both continue at. Now, the Alpine did have that issue. They did stop, right? They did slide a bit. And so that obviously helped, but you know, we can't take too much credit. I mean, the Red Bull is driving very well for these conditions.
I believe that the
I think we just he just passed the Alpine. We didn't really get a great look at that, but to me it appears that the Alpine had maybe some type of issue and is now behind the Red Bull. It seems like maybe they slipped on that corner or something of that nature.
That's true. Like I was saying, I think Richardson really kept his cool and just really focused. He was pushing for those 5 or 6 laps, trying to get their position, and as we can see, it paid off. He's got past. We can see him now struggling. I think
running wide on these corners, definitely. I mean, the thing is, it is 7 laps, and if we look at the track here, I mean, it's not much to us, but obviously, you know, if you're driving there, you can feel it.
Yeah, I believe his tires are just very warm, or very hot after that slide.
Absolutely, they get hot. That is a concern.
They get quite hot after a spin, or so. What do you think? Is he gonna be able to gain that time back? What do you think, Nick?
Well, I think what we're seeing is a lot of issues with grip. I think that's
sliding a bit.
Yeah, I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a lot of issues with the grip. The tires aren't dispersing the water as much as the drivers, teams, you know, race control, everybody was hoping for. You know, we had a beautifully sunny race. It was a little cloudy, but it was a pretty nice, for the most part, sunny race, especially over the weekend back in Monza last week. And this, we're seeing basically the opposite. We're not even that far, right? We're still in Italy, obviously. We're not that far, and this rain is just, it's torrential downpour here. This is a disaster for the drivers. They're getting soaked. I imagine it's not fun or comfortable to be racing like this. And ultimately, really, I mean, we're getting a bit off topic here, but I mean, look at this. You can't get any grip in that corner, right? These drivers are very skilled, going 200, you know, as that might seem to some very difficult to take that corner, but in these cars with these drivers' skills, these corners shouldn't be a problem at these speeds. And, you know, what we're seeing is we're just seeing a lot of slipping from the car, especially on... Okay, I'm not sure if that was a slip or just a running wide there, but we're seeing a lot of grip issues, and we're seeing a lot of slip from both the Red Bull, the Alpine. We haven't seen much of the AlphaTauri at the moment, but, you know, obviously, I'm assuming it's a similar situation. Yeah, and it looks like he did have a bit of a slip there coming out of that, what turn is that? I think that is turn... My goodness, I think this is 12 now he's on.
Yes, I do believe that is
12, 13. 12 or 13 here, and he's struggling quite a bit. I believe we might have a safety car. Maybe not. I thought there was a chance that there was a safety car off of that, but it's not looking that way right now. We'll see if we can get any footage of the vehicles here from the exterior view. And as you can see, these cars are completely soaked. There's so much water everywhere. I mean, it must be a pain to see out there. It's definitely not.
Yeah, that is true.
It's definitely not easy for these drivers to see what they are doing.
But we can see Richardson showing his skill. How quick he is in that rain. It's just one of the many skills he has as a driver.
Definitely, the Red Bull definitely made a good choice bringing Richardson from Mercedes over for this season, hoping to get, I guess, a first championship. Oh, and I believe the Alpine's just spun. Is that what we've just heard? The Alpine has potentially spun at the turn before this, potentially a spin from the Alpine. A little bit of issues with the steering again, it looks like. Potentially that was just the grass there, maybe.
I do believe he's just struggling for grip, like everyone.
And I think right now we are looking at a safety car. Yes, I believe there might be a safety car out. That's a weird time to pit. Let's see what we can see. I'm not seeing a safety car message deployed on the HUD, so that might just be a pit stop for the Alpine team.
Maybe he got damage.
Yeah, that
Uh,
is odd. That is odd.
you know, we'll see because interesting pit exit. We'll see what Race Control does about that.
Still in P2 here. Now 35 seconds back from Richardson, Red Bull leader here. But what we are seeing here, lap 10, you know, things are going a bit slower in the rain. There's no DRS. There's no, you know, there's no really room for mistakes here. It's got to be 100% clean racing. Think about, just think about all the risks you have, right? We can't lunge into the corners here. Nobody is able to do that. And we also have the AlphaTauri going into the pits here.
I do believe he's trying to get the. I do believe he has damage from
Yeah, it
that
does look
incident.
like,
Lap
okay,
2.
they did in fact replace the wing. They did in fact replace the wing, so that is going to be the delay in the pits there for the AlphaTauri. Now
that may be a long strategy. He fixed it.
and there must be a safety car here. There must be a safety car. Now, obviously, it's difficult. We didn't really discuss this yet, but obviously, this week we see again a lot of competitors not in the race, and even this week we do not have a safety car here. So, you know.
Yeah, I do believe it's gonna be a safety car.
This must be a safety car. I mean, the Red Bull is going way too slow. I mean, unless there's some major damage we didn't see. Let's see if we can look at that wonderful Red Bull. Let's see if we can get let's see if the angry eyes are back.
Let's see if the lion is gonna come out.
Oh, he looks a little angry.
He looks furious.
He's furious. Oh, he's furious too. And important to note, fastest lap currently sitting with Hunt of the in the Alpine. Oh no, excuse me, it's now back to Richardson. I'm not sure, that might have just been I might have just been seeing things there, but I mean, I'm not seeing them catch up. Let's go to the front cam here.
I do believe fastest lap of the race is a 126.0, I mean 0.4 from Richardson.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I mean, oh, it is a safety car. It is a safety car. So we have a VSC at the moment. As we discussed, obviously no safety car, so it's just VSC safety car rules. You know, obviously we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, right? We're not too sure how this will pan out.
I believe Cole. This is Cole's chance to get back into the race.
Both cars, they're slipping on that turn. I'm not sure Cole is going to be able to do much here. You know, just considering the conditions here, you know, I'm surprised this race is even going on. This reminds me of kind of Suzuka, actually.
Yep.
You know, usually when it's raining there, this is what we see. You know, I'm taking a look here over at my calendar. And I'm actually just seeing here that Suzuka will in fact be, what is that? That would be weekend 7. So round 7 of the championship will be in Suzuka. That's the 18th of February. So we're still, that's after the first break. I believe, yeah, that is after the first break. Or is that just before the first break? I don't know. I don't have all the races in front of me, but I do know the first 7 races. So next, since we're under safety car, we might as well discuss the next races. We are going to Mexico for weekend 3, round 3 of the championship.
Yep.
Mexico. Then we have Spa. Unfortunate news regarding Spa. It has been rescheduled. So we are waiting for verdict from obviously the officials, the track officials, the CRRC officials, everyone. We are waiting for even just Coastline Racing, you know, the director of the league and all that in general. We're waiting for some information here that I'm sure will be delivered to us somehow soon regarding the rescheduling of the race. But as it stands for now, the order will be Mexico, Belgium, so obviously and then Melbourne, and then Montreal, then Suzuka. That's what we know for sure for now that have been That will be the order for now, is what I'm trying to say. Oh my goodness, and that is going to be Cole striking the Alpine from behind here under the safety car. Is everyone okay here? It seems the Alpine will be getting back underway. That was a bit of a frightening sight to see there. We were talking about the schedule, and all of a sudden we just see the AlphaTauri sneak up behind one and get into a collision.
Let's see what the race control. Okay, we've just got a message. Race control has noted that down.
I mean, that's just inexcusable. I don't really understand how under the safety car we're having collisions between drivers. That's really unsafe. Kind of defeats the purpose of the safety car and the yellow flags and all that. But we'll see. Okay, the Red Bull's running a bit wide. Re-enters the track here without too much issue. And really, I mean, this is interesting. Are we going back to racing pace here? I don't believe so. I believe this is still going to be under safety car. But I mean, essentially, this is getting bad. You can see a lot of puddles here down the main straight. I mean, I can't even see what's going on, to be honest with you. Most of it is difficult to see.
We can't even see the AlphaTauri. It has to go to the left side of the track, so we it's just hard to see drivers. Those drivers out there on the track must feel it's just getting dangerous to this point. Like, what do we feel? Like, Richardson has a very good view. He has the water covered. He doesn't have the spray. It's just Hunt and Cole. They're just hit with that spray. They can't see anything.
I mean, it is obviously a concern, these sprays, but at the end of the day, I mean, while you're on the track, it is a bit easier to gauge and see, right? I mean, it's hard to tell from the camera angles, right? I mean, we don't wanna be too biased here. I mean, the spray is bad, definitely, but I mean, let's keep in mind what these guys drive these cars for a living. I mean, it's not like they've never driven the car in unfavorable circumstances before, right? I mean, obviously, we trust the CRRC, and we trust that obviously the event coordinators and everyone do have the safety of their drivers as their best interest. Everyone is on a full wet, which should be helping to get rid of some of that pooling. It should be pushing the water away. Now, obviously, the rain we can see from the camera, it's still coming down. It's not stopping. So that is something. It does appear maybe it's not getting worse, but it's definitely piling up on the track a bit more. As we can see, this corner looks more slick than it did when we first came through it. Just judging by what the drivers are going through. And I believe we're back to green. Yeah, we are going green here. So Richardson with a good head start off the VSC here. Hunt within a second. Cole within a second of Hunt. It's going to be quite a close race, hopefully from here on out. A little bit of cold tires from the Red Bull, and that might let the Alpine, and the Alpine it's wheel to wheel here. And, Richardson goes deep into that corner trying to give the Alpine space, and he goes off track a bit. He's back on close to the AlphaTauri there. Almost a collision there, but luckily everyone keeping their head up, keeping their head in the game. Sees that, and it's not going to be too much of an issue yet. Now, the Red Bull is losing time here, but that could just be getting reacclimated with the track and everything. Pretty nice corner there. AlphaTauri, Red Bull, Alpine, everyone's keeping up here. Everyone's very close. This is going to be quite an exciting couple of laps here until we get some separation again. Hunt is extending his gap in the Alpine, believe it or not. The Alpine is gaining 2 seconds on the Red Bull. Oh, and the Red Bull slides a little. That can be dangerous. If we keep seeing things like that, I'm thinking we might see a red flag way before the 63rd lap.
We can see it's getting a bit more.
And there goes the AlphaTauri. The AlphaTauri is off the track. Almost a collision there with the Red Bull. Almost a collision with the Red Bull there, forcing him to go wide. But props to the drivers. They're keeping it safe. They are rather going off track. It's not always about getting the move done that lap. You have, we're assuming we have these full 63 laps. I mean, to us here looking, commentating overview of this race, I mean, to me, it's not looking like it's going to be 63, but the drivers, are hoping it does get there. The teams and the drivers are hoping. So we can't, you don't want to throw away the car. You don't want to damage the car. You don't want to damage another driver's car, all this stuff. So it's important to keep in mind.
They're just really trying their best here. They're trying to get the full amount out of the car. But obviously, there's just one problem. There's just so much water piling up on the track.
Of course. Racing in the rain is not easy. It's not that the cars. It's not necessarily that the cars aren't meant for it. It's just, the tires definitely aren't right. The slicks, which is what the car performs best on. It's a combination of features. Let's not simplify it too much. But we know that, it's not that these cars can't run in the rain. It's just that they're not going to be as fast as they are in the dry. Right, the grip is not there. The downforce, everything. The setup changes you have to make in the rain, just to get the speed, but also to make it drivable. I mean, you can't do what you can do in the dry in the rain. It's just not possible. But anyways, let's get back to the racing here. Hunt is in P1 with fastest lap. Cole just coming down the main straight now.
That's true.
Excuse me. That is incorrect. The purple bar on this leaderboard, I don't believe is showing fastest lap. I believe the fastest lap. Lap is. I think it's on Richardson here.
It is.
What lap is it? Let's take a look here. Sorry, everyone. I'm just checking that. It's still lap 7. Lap 7 is the best lap of the race. It is a 126.407 on the full wet compound in the Red Bull for Richardson. That was lap 7. As of yet, lap 16, we do not have another fastest lap. We don't have anybody going faster. I don't believe... Yeah, I'm just taking a look here at our information. I don't see anyone with even a better sector time. I mean, right now the Red Bull is the best car on the track. Technically speaking.
In terms of data, I just want to look at the quali results real quick. We can see that Richardson, as we could see at the start of the race, he was in P1 with a staggering 124.5180. Something very special in the rain. We don't see a lot of 124s in the rain. Then we got...
That's definitely a good time there. And I hate to break it to you, but I believe we are under another yellow flag. I believe the AlphaTauri has hit a wall or spun or done something of that nature. Yeah, and it does look like it will be the result of something we did not see on the other side of the track. The AlphaTauri will be going into the pits here, hopefully for some repairs and getting back out. Maybe a tire change, maybe another front wing.
I think that the AlphaTauri driver he hasn't. We can see that he does very okay in the dry. He does his best. He tries his best. I think the wet is just not his thing, as we can see from all the damage on his car.
And by the looks of things, that was just a tire change. I mean, I don't think that they replaced the wing. They might have, but we didn't have a camera down there at the pit lane, so I'm not quite sure. Now he'll be trying to catch up with the rest of them. And oh my, the Alpine must have gone off track, because now the Red Bull is P1. Richardson back to P1 after an off track. Yes, okay, it has been confirmed. It was an off track. The Alpine went off on the oh my, what is that turn? I believe turn 7. I believe turn 7 is what I'm being told. Yes, so I'm being told that turn 7, the Alpine has left the track and the Red Bull was able to overtake the position. Will race control leave that as the verdict? We're about to find out. But from what I can see personally, I think that's clean. If the car, as they say, did leave the track, then I don't see an issue with the Red Bull being P1.
Now, I have a question for you.
Oh wow, both cars going into the pits. That's an interesting strategy call.
Very close
The
call with
Alpine
Hahn.
trying to get around without exceeding the limit. That's something you don't see quite that often.
Yeah, while they're in the pits, I do have a question for you, Nick.
Yes.
Do you think this session is going to be red flagged? Because obviously we've seen two
I mean,
safety cars.
it's getting dangerous. It is in fact getting dangerous, right?
Two safety cars in the last, what, 18 laps? That is
Checking in here with the AlphaTauri, now going to have P1 due to the pit stops, but you know there is a question to be asked. He was just going 140 down the main straight, which is exceeding safety car speed. Obviously VSC it's 80, 100, 120. There is a condition where it is 140, but that's only when the debris is cleared and it's just VSC to, you know, confirm everyone's off track and in position for race pace again. So what will be interesting to see is, oh my goodness, we're seeing the Red Bull not too happy about that. I'm assuming something's on the team radio. You know, team radios we don't have the access to right now. Hopefully in the next couple of weekends we'll have it fixed. But it looks like the Red Bull is not too happy with the decision. Okay, and according to the team radio, he is upset and he will be returning the car to the pits. Apparently he has been hit or something hit him. I'm not too sure. It's very muffled here. The rain and everything, and the mic and the wind. It does sound like he is upset about something hitting the car or something hitting him. I can't make it out. Can you make that out?
I don't believe so. It's just so muffled with all that rain coming down. Like I said, the wind. But he is angry. He is furious. Maybe the anger in his eyes. Maybe I don't know. Obviously he's slowing down now. Let's just see. We don't know when this safety car's gonna
back into the pits. So the Red Bull claiming that whatever, something hit them or there was a racing situation there. I mean, it's not really acceptable that we see you know, him overtake the entire safety car queue for that, but I mean, it is understandable from a driver perspective, and he will be back in the pits now, most likely getting some repairs here.
Cole is in the pits. Do you believe he is getting repairs as well?
It does seem like whatever has happened resulted in two cars being hit by something. Maybe it was debris on the track. Maybe it was a sign that nobody saw due to the rain. But you know, that is something that I definitely think, you know, the CRRC is definitely gonna have to address that with the Red Bull team. We can't. That was, in my opinion, completely unsafe and unnecessary, really. But you know, everyone has their reasons. We'll see what comes of it. I'm not gonna say anything now, but we will see what comes of it. So he is accepting P2. So maybe there was something we're unaware of. So here we're on board with Richardson in the Red Bull. Currently P2, was P1 when the VSC came out. Now P2 due to multiple pit stops. It's the Alpine in front now. So the Alpine back in P1 where it was just before this all started.
Let's just see what he can do in the rain, because on the restart. We'll just see. What do you think, Nick? Do you think the Alpine is gonna get a great start, gonna get ahead and stay in P1, or do you think that Richardson's gonna get a really good start, get that P1? Oh, what?
AlphaTauri off track a bit there, overran it again. Conditions are not getting favorable. Now I know it looks like we're favoritizing the Red Bull a little bit today, but really, I mean, it's just been the position of all the action, really. I mean, except for, I mean, even the catching, you know, everybody has their definition of action. If you want to see the fighting between the cars, if you want to see the overtakes. But to me, honestly, the best action was what we saw from the Red Bull. You know, racing a very clean race, very clean line to catch back up to the cars after, you know, he spun out there on the first lap. You know, not that was his fault, the rain's fault, we don't know, right? We don't know what happened. You know, you never know what happens unless you're actually the driver, but you know, that's my favorite part of probably this entire race so far, is that lap 20, I believe we've had 3 VSCs now. You know, there's definitely Yeah, sorry.
Race Control has just confirmed that safety car or VSC, sorry, is ending this lap.
Okay, VSC is ending soon. That's good to know. Excuse me, but yeah, definitely is something to keep an eye on. Is these conditions? We've had three safety periods, 3 caution periods is the word I'm looking for. 3 caution periods, and what have we really gotten out of them? I mean, so many of them, such a short time span. It's 20 laps in. Not to say that, obviously, just like we saw last week in the dry, yeah, we had a couple of incidents first, second, third lap, but, it seems here that the cars are really just having problems with themselves, right? It's not always that, you can blame an external factor for a driver having a problem, but 3 from almost every car. We've seen the Red Bull have some problems. We've seen the AlphaTauri have some problems. We've seen the Alpine even, who debatably as of yet in this race has been the best, right? Obviously the Red Bull and the Alpine are fighting here for the best of this race, right? Who is going to be P1? And as we're being told here, it is going green again here. But as we're being told, these conditions are very dangerous and it is close to being red flag. We have just been told this by race control. We've just heard the message to the teams that this is very dangerous at the moment, and we are close to red flag due to obviously all the pooling on the track. Now back on board, as you can see, it's even like you can just visually see the puddles. I can barely see any dry parts of the track.
Yeah, same here. It's just
compared to when we started. When we started, we had some puddles. Now I'd say it's the opposite. Now we have some track, mostly puddles. These curbs are going to be very slippery. Basically everything is going to be slippy. So, obviously not to put any more danger out there, but the curbs and the grass being so wet and slippy will result in these cars not stopping. They will go right into the wall if they hit anything or if they spin.
That is true. That's why the racing control is now considering a red flag.
It is definitely dangerous. Luckily, we are seeing these drivers are able to keep the cars on the track for now. But as you can see, even Richardson here, who usually is pretty good into these corners, into these fast, high-speed chicane type corners, right? He is sliding a lot. Like there's a lot of sliding on this car right now, and we will check in with the other drivers here. Cole here.
Getting to grips with the car.
It's a little hard to see. Yeah, we're on the straight. Let's go up to the Alpine. Let's see what the Alpine. Let's see if they're struggling at all. A little bit there, but nothing out of the ordinary. That's just understeer. That's just oversteer, as usual, right? You're gonna have that dry, wet, anything. Okay, there is the Alpine is sliding around a bit. Let's go back to the AlphaTauri. Oh, and as you can see, yep, putting the power on at the wrong time. In these conditions, that will just result in the car spinning out completely.
As we saw from you saying, that grass did not stop him. There's nothing stopping.
The only thing stopping is the sand and the gravel. Really, is the only thing that's going to stop anyone in this kind of condition. The Red Bull getting a little dangerous there, but luckily keeping it under control. And there's nothing but water here, folks. We cannot see. We cannot see a lot, and these cameras are pretty far back from the track, so this is mostly just what's coming down, right? This is not the spray of the cars. This is just, it's getting dangerous. It's getting very wet, a lot of puddles, a lot of pooling of the water here, especially at these corners. As we can see, drivers now trying to avoid some parts of the track completely. Yeah. This is a disaster.
This is. Let's just see what race control does about it. Still some very good racing. From Richardson and Hunt.
Yeah, let's get on board now. Within a second, the Red Bull is now within a second of the Alpine. We've talked a lot about conditions and what's wrong with the race, but we have not talked a lot about what is good, and this is some good racing. There's some tight fights going on here. Both drivers driving pretty cleanly here. And this is a dangerous corner, obviously, in the rain again. Not to bring it back to the conditions, but that is a dangerous corner in the rain. Currently looking.
I do believe is sliding just, yeah, he's just, I don't believe he's getting the grip out of the car. It's just his tires are just
coming to the uphill. Oh my goodness, and both cars sliding. Both cars sliding. The Alpine getting the worst of it. Red Bull getting by, and the Alpine in dangerous trouble here after sliding around quite a bit. That is quite concerning. That was a lot of sliding for the Alpine. There could even be damage to the tires from that. Let's see if the AlphaTauri has trouble getting around this corner. And as you can see, taking it really, really slow. And even then, still taking it slow. And if we just saw that, the AlphaTauri having some problems. That was sliding. That was sliding there. That was not an understeer. That was not driver error. That was just simply the car sliding due to the conditions. That hill, really a concern spot now. That might actually be the result. Those. Oh my goodness. And as you can see, going onto the inside of that, there's just so much water pooling around the curbs and really in that area. It's not controllable. It really is not controllable. Let's check out the Alpine. The Alpine now losing mass amounts of time to the Red Bull, who we just heard pass us going into turn 7. The Alpine here, not doing bad, but as you can see, a lot of water under that wing, under the front wing.
It's just getting so dangerous, Nick. I don't know.
Our racing going back to the Red Bull. Yeah, even coming through that corner, as you can see, we are seeing still a little bit of the cars slipping here.
I feel very bad for these drivers. I feel bad for the drivers. They're getting soaked out there.
This really is unfortunate. I know we did talk. Well, we didn't really talk about it, and we're not really allowed to talk about it too much. But we have been directed by CRRC, Coastline Racing, all of those agencies. This race was actually meant to be a day before. This was meant to be on Saturday. This was this morning, which is Sunday. The race was rescheduled. We don't know the specifics. The teams and the regulators were in, I guess, conferencing. We're in discussions for quite some time about redoing this race. You know, the first race did not finish. It is important that we indicate that. Similar situation. There's a lot of rain. What we are told is there was an issue with a car. One of the competitors had an issue with the car and basically stopped on track. There was a failure, I guess, with the caution system is our understanding. And the whole track was put into the wrong state or something of that nature. Anyways, one of the competitors complaining it wasn't fair to them. One complaining, obviously, that they had an advantage that was taken by redoing it. A bunch of stuff, right? We're not going to get into the specifics, but basically, and we don't know what the result would have been of that. But basically, they decided to redo it, and you know, I'm not saying conditions are much better today or worse, but you know, it's pretty much the same story. Isn't that right, Ollie?
Yeah, it's just.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's just yesterday. I think it was the same story. As we see at the start of the race, it was just the rain was quite light, okay, and then it's just treacherous rain now. It's just getting it's just getting undrivable, to be honest. For these drivers, like as we see, I don't know if there's gonna be any more sliding, but it's just. We've seen it in the past laps. They're just not getting any grip. Those tires are supposed to like make space on the track. You know what I mean? Get the water away, and it's just not the tires aren't doing their job, which is all very dangerous for the drivers.
Yeah, it's these are not ideal conditions. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see a red flag come out soon. We can see the Red Bull even fighting quite a bit on that corner. I guess they slipped early. I don't know. We just came on board. You know, I'm not going to speculate too much, but as you can see, definitely a struggle from all drivers here, kind of trying to keep their car, I guess, on the track and in good running order. I mean, there is a lot of water here. The Red Bull looks, I mean, it's hard really to say with the Red Bull on the track that, you know, we're having any issues, really, but You know,
Yeah, we just saw in that turn, that chicane.
oh, and yeah, and the Red Bull is having some problems there as well. Let's check in with obviously yep, and just as you saw, sliding brake issues. This is getting dangerous. I would honestly, at this point now, given the continuous rainfall, given the continuous sliding and problems we've had, I would be severely concerned if this doesn't get red flagged by, I would say, lap 35. If this is not red flagged by 35, oh my gosh. And yeah, AlphaTauri, I don't know what happened there. Maybe overshot it. Maybe didn't judge the rain correctly. But the AlphaTauri in some trouble. Now 38 seconds behind Hunt. Will they be able to catch up? And they just can't brake. They're just sliding. I'm not sure if you can hear that. It might be hard to hear that, but you can hear the water. Basically, the water, the tires in the car. You can just hear that the brakes aren't really responding. Like you can hear the tires screeching, but you're not. It's not that sound I'm talking about. But you know, regardless, what I'm saying is it's going to be difficult for these drivers to continue safely when we're seeing all this sliding, all this you know, all these different things. Let's see what the Alpine is doing.
Oh, he's struggling through that corner.
Struggling to keep it on the track here. This could just be a combination of the water, you know, water on the visor, water on the track, braking, maybe just the drivers now, as you can see, more sliding from the Alpine. The AlphaTauri here looks like they're doing not bad.
Let's watch the AlphaTauri for this.
And there goes the AlphaTauri. Another slide.
Let's see how he does through.
Yeah, what'll definitely be a concern here is these turns coming up. If we see more slipping here, if we see more slipping here on these corners, it is going to be a concern for us because, and that's probably going to be the end of the AlphaTauri for today. That was bad. Hopefully the driver is okay. I'm not sure what happened. He kind of just full speeded. Maybe an issue with the brakes. Oh, and it does appear there is an issue with the car. The car is stuck in 5th gear. Here, let's take a look from our TV camera. Yeah, and that's going to be the AlphaTauri stopped. Let's check in with the Alpine. The Alpine just coming up to the corner now. I believe the Red Bull did just in fact pass. So I'm not sure what's going on. There is the AlphaTauri stop there.
Oh, and it's just being confirmed by race control. Red flag. There is going to be a red flag.
I don't believe we are. Is this red flag? Are we in red flag?
Yes, I do believe so.
That is unfortunate, obviously, to see a race come to the end like that. But we are on board with the Red Bull, with Richardson. If this is the red flag, it's not red flag. I didn't see the Red Bull go into the pit. But
I believe that it's just been called. I do not know.
Okay. Well, regardless, this is dangerous, and this does need to be sorted out. I mean, the Red Bull having a lot of, like, that is a lot of water we're seeing, and a lot of slippage that he seems to be fighting here. So
yeah, they have confirmed it is a red flag. I do believe he's going to be coming in on this lap.
Yeah, there's a lot of sliding here. That is a good call. So as it stands, then it will be Richardson with another victory. You know, unfortunately only 30 of 63 laps. So that will mean that it will be half points. So that I believe is 12.5 for P1. Oh my goodness, and the Red Bull slipping there, going over the
as we can see, Cole is still there. Do you think he's okay?
I think he's fine. I didn't hear anything over team radio that was too concerning. I heard some complaints about the car, and I heard him say he's fine. You know, obviously sounds like he is, you know, struggling a little bit, in a bit of pain. But I do believe that he will be okay, thankfully. You know, we won't know, obviously, until that's 100% confirmed, but he is talking, he is fine. He's not complaining of any major issues, but you never know. After a crash, you want to give it some time. Obviously, have him get checked out and everything like that. And the Red Bull is in the pits, so yes, you were right. It is confirmed to be a red flag, and the race will be ending. I mean, the forecast doesn't show this letting up, and everything like that. So, again, it will be a win for Red Bull. Not that I really would say this is a win for Red Bull. You know what I mean? The AlphaTauri is just there. The camera is functional. Which is good, meaning that he is okay. The car didn't sustain that significant damage beyond the front wing and
Next,
front pods.
we AlphaTauri have just posted a update on Jimmy Cole. He's now being taken to the closest medical center, and his condition is currently unknown.
Well, I mean, as we see him in the vehicle there, he should be okay. Him in the vehicle there, obviously we don't want to see that at all. That was a pretty hard impact. I would say this most likely is just precautionary.
That is true.
I don't think he sustained any injury. Obviously because if we look at his car, he is awake, right? We see him still awake, just moving around, waiting in the vehicle. So maybe there is some damage or something, or maybe he's just waiting for somebody to get out there to help him. But whatever the situation is, Jimmy Cole seems to be okay. Now he will be taken to the closest medical center. That's always good. We want them to get checked out. But, this is not the race we were expecting. It's always sad to see it end in a red flag, but even worse to see somebody get hurt. So, overall, this was not what anyone was hoping for this week. I think we can both agree. But, hopefully next week in Mexico, everything is good. Hopefully the other competitors are able to get their stuff together and kind of show up here, because it's a bit of a struggle. But I believe that is going to be all for us this week at Coastline Racing. Do you have anything before we log off here?
I just want to say thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you in Mexico.
Wonderful. Thanks, everyone. See you next time.